Thanks for joining us for the Great Telco Debate 2019. I'm Charlotte Kahn, and today we're talking to Michael Sherman. He's Chief Strategy and Transformation Officer at BT Group. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So Michael, cloud native, is it a must-do or a nice-to-do for CSPs as they transition towards becoming digital service providers?
It's a must-do. If we were actually building a telecom company from scratch today, you would not build a telecom company with on-prem legacy-based systems like we've constructed. The reality is most of our telecoms, these are 100-year-old companies that were built on a time in a different era. We have mainframe systems and systems that had come up just through the way that we built our company in the 70s and 80s. But today we have to change. And you can see that change from companies like Jio in India or Rakuten, who've set up new brilliant businesses very rapidly that deliver differentiated services to their customers. And that's a recognition of the pace at which innovation is happening in the marketplace. And the legacy non-cloud native based systems actually hold you back. So we believe that telcos around the globe must take this seriously and must innovate around cloud native.
And what use cases do you believe will generate near-term revenue opportunity for CSPs at the edge, and why?
So when we start to think about what's going to come, it's really hard to predict. I mean, no one knew with 4G what was going to happen with the new apps that would be on top of the cell phones, and those things were quite new. When we look at the next generation apps, we kind of have speculation about what those could be, but no one really knows. If I were speculating, I think some of those center around the use cases around low latency with 5G. So when you're starting to attach the new radio standard with the edge compute, those will deal with things like factory automation, where you'll have mobile-based robots that are assembling products and shipping products. We see those use cases already coming. But there's a whole series of other use cases where you have wired-based connections at control centers and businesses that over time don't make sense to actually have. And with 5G guaranteed low latency services, we know we can deliver those reliably over our network. The question starts to become, what else? What happens when the ISVs, independent software vendors, actually start to make innovations happen? And that's where we think the real excitement comes, is you have this massive amount of compute power that's only 2 to 3 milliseconds away from you. So imagine a supercomputer within 3 milliseconds of reach. At that point, we can create new things that we couldn't imagine. And that's really where we're trying to get these ISV communities really engaged to working with us.
Do you feel that currently the industry is doing enough to monetize connectivity?
Monetizing connectivity, absolutely not. If you look at it over the past 15, 20 years, it's probably been the one pain point for every telco globally, is the fact that we've given so much value to the marketplace and customers. So when you actually take on a pound per megabit basis, if that were your level of denomination, you'd find that on a pound per megabit, it gets cheaper and cheaper every year. So we actually are giving you more data for a lower price. That's almost unheard of. Think about fuel and energy. What I paid for a liter of petrol 10 years ago is very different than what I pay. It's much more expensive. It's gone up on that metric. We've gone down. And so we're actually giving value away. But the problem is the infrastructure, the equipment required is quite expensive. If I'm going to go to, name the vendor, I won't name them, and buy equipment to put up in the radio access, in the core, in my data centers, that equipment's more expensive than it was a year ago. So in reality, as I'm giving more data and transmitting more data, I'm having more cost. And I have to somehow monetize that cost, or we don't have a business. So the next decade for us really centers around how do we do that the most effective way possible, where consumers see the value, perceive the value, and are willing to pay for that value.
So what will drive this change? I mean, if you were to pick one of these, which one would you choose? We've mentioned connectivity, technology, business models, investment, culture, and skill sets.
Ooh, it's a good question. I'd probably first pick culture. I think there is too much caught up into a almost utility-based mindset in the telecom industry. So we think that our products, our services must be taken by our customers. And the reality is far from that. We actually see there's choice in the marketplace. There's competitive choices, overlay choices, alternative choices. And so if we don't have a culture which says, how do we compete? How do we delight our customers? How do we deliver brilliant experiences where customers will want to stay with us for the long haul? If we can't create that culture, we're not going to have a reliable base of customers to stay with us. That's what, when we actually reflect on the Amazons of the world, the Netflix, That's what they do really well, is they engage their audience, they understand where you're going, and then they build services and solutions for you. Our industry has been, let's build an engineering thing, and then let's package it up in a way that we can sell it to someone else. We've got to change that fundamentally, so I would go with culture.
So Michael, what efforts are you conducting at BT to create the right culture?
So we've been on a transformation journey that we will continue to do for the next 3 to 5 years. And that transformation really centers on a couple of things. First is what's going to give our colleagues the best experience so that they can be the most effective in doing their jobs. We think that is foundational to giving a delightful experience. The second is what things do our customers want from us? So how can we actually better engage with our customers at a much more rapid pace? And then how do we actually embrace a culture which allows for a change agenda, which means you have to fail a couple of times to win. And so how do we enable that in an organization that has had a very strong engineering mindset where nothing can fail? And you have to have balance. So what we've been doing is we've set up a transformation program that we're leading from the center with all of our executives on our team. We are setting ourselves up in new kind of what we're calling horizontal streams. So think of them as value streams of what customers would want. And then we're trying to get our people to start to operate in a more Silicon Valley, high-paced, agile culture. You'll hear that word, but it's really about co-location, working in teams, empowering our teams to be able to self-govern so that they can deliver value to our customers. And that transformation journey isn't just a journey for our frontline and people that are working on products or services, but it's also for management. We have to learn how to do financial planning differently. We have to learn how to engage our board differently. And we have to learn how to engage our colleagues and our employees differently. And so this is an entire mindset change. But the good news is we're up for it. And as I've communicated with my peers around the industry, I found that most telcos are somewhere on this journey. So we're all doing this together, trying to figure it out. But I think what we're going to see is somewhere in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to look back at the telecom sector and we're going to find, wow, these companies are actually massively different than they were before. They're culturally different, they're working different, they're delivering new products and services differently, and that's what journey we're on at BT.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michael Sherman from BT Group.